Commissioner.
We will exchange information even swifter than we already do, that we will now very soon need to implement the passenger name records. We will need to see a swift completion of legislation on combating terrorism. So we don't need new plans, we need to fully execute the plans that have been, the measures that have been taken before and decided upon before, and the strong resolve of the meeting this afternoon was to do that.
That is required. A third point, which I would like to underline. This afternoon, after having expressed their sincere feelings, all European ministers, the Commission and European Parliament, together with us, insisted on the swift acting of the European institutions on the different points of action of our joint declaration. And I only would like to underline some points of it, which are really, in our view, in the Belgian view, very important. That is, first, the interoperability of databases, which is really necessary with regard to, for instance, the Schengen Information System, but with regard to a lot of, example given, Interpol databases. We really have to act swiftly on that issue. Another issue which was very important is the full exchange of judicial information. Every day we discover in the framework of what happened in Paris and in Brussels how important it is that our intelligence services, that our judicial services exchange all relevant information that is required. A third point, which I would like to underline, is the issue of the joint investigation teams. After Paris, we discovered how valuable the joint investigation that is at this point led by the Belgian and the French Parisian prosecutor with regard to the Paris attacks, how fruitful that has been for the investigation. National operators with regard to the opening of the internet. We are a joint Europe with regard to terrorism, and we should become it more than ever, because terrorism as finance knows no frontiers, no border. The attacks, the brutal and barbaric.
Something needs to change. National security is, of course, the job of member states, but the threat of terrorism is common. So should be our response common. The Commission has taken already several initiatives to support member states, but sometimes I'm afraid there is a lack of political will, lack of coordination, and most importantly, in some cases, lack of trust.
A shot at the core of our values, of our liberty.
What do we need to do in the coming days, in the coming weeks, to prevent as much as possible this type of events to happen again? Two essential elements. First, improve on our exchange of information. And second, implement, put in practice what was politically agreed after previous attacks. On information exchange, firstly, the European Counter-Terrorism Center from Europol has become a reality. We have secured additional resources for it. Now, it is time for the European Union countries to make full use of it and to share more data.
On the different points of action of our joint declaration.
We have agreed today to set up a joint liaison team of national experts. I urge member states to send their experts immediately and to share information. I have said this yesterday. We need to talk to each other, but also our systems, they also need to talk to each other. We cannot put our data into black boxes. Data must be interconnected to be useful. That is why in a few weeks I will present concrete ideas on how our information systems in border management and law enforcement can be better used, interconnected and interoperated.
In our view, in the Belgian view, very important That is first the interoperability. The thing about Turkey, because you will certainly still read about it and the international press needs to be informed, with saying that upon expulsion they did not inform us about the timing, the place and so on. I do not say that the Belgian embassy was not informed before the 14th of July that the national had been arrested, but that was just a formal communication whereby we informed what for, and we received no further message. That was by the end of June, and then on the 14th of July he was expelled without further notice and without telling us that he was going to be expelled, and where to. So that is the story on an exact basis. The only thing we knew before that, by the end of June, was that he had been arrested by the near to the Syrian border, but nothing more than that.